Shalom, my friends. Today we are going to confront and conquer the silent dream killer, the subtle assassin of destiny that is more destructive than any external enemy. I am talking about laziness. There is a profound ancient truth embedded in the heart of the Torah that once you understand it will act like a spiritual defibrillator to your soul, shocking you out of procrastination and into a life of relentless, joyful, and divinely powered action. If you have ever felt stuck, if you have ever watched your dreams wither on the vine of inaction, then this message is for you. By the end of this video, you will never see laziness the same way again, and you will possess a practical 3-step protocol to permanently eradicate it from your life. But first, I want you to be brutally honest in the comments below. What is the one important, life-changing thing you are procrastinating on right now? Is it starting a business, writing a book, getting healthy, making that difficult phone call? Name it. Drag it out of the shadows and into the light. Confession is the first step to conquest. And as you do that, I invite you to join this sacred movement. We are building an army, 50,000 strong, of souls who are done with mediocrity and are ready to activate their full, God-given potential. If you are one of us, then your first act of war against inaction is to hit that subscribe button. It is a declaration that you are ready to move. And if you are serious about mastering the complete system, I have something extraordinary for you. I have created the Torah Millionaire Business School, a comprehensive course for only $299, but it is closing soon. In this course, I unveil the full Torah wealth system, the same 3,000-year-old Jewish money laws that built dynasties, protected families, and created unstoppable prosperity. The link is in the comments. This is not theory. This is the blueprint. All right, let's get to the heart of this battle. I remember a period in my life after I had achieved some success in business where I fell into a deep spiritual laziness. On the outside, everything looked fine, but on the inside, I was stagnant. I had a vision for a new community project, a school that would combine rigorous Torah education with entrepreneurial training. It was a massive, audacious goal, and it terrified me. The sheer scale of it paralyzed me. Every morning I would wake up, look at the mountain of work required, and I would feel an overwhelming sense of exhaustion. I would tell myself, I'll start tomorrow. I would busy myself with small, unimportant tasks to create the illusion of productivity. I would check emails, organize my desk, read articles, anything to avoid the main thing. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. My dream was gathering dust in the corner of my soul. I was a prisoner of my own inaction. My Yetzer Hara, my negative inclination, had me in a spiritual chokehold, and its weapon of choice was laziness. It was one of the darkest periods of my life. Not because anything bad was happening, but because nothing was happening at all. The Torah has a name for this spiritual disease, atzlut. It is often translated as sloth or laziness, but it is much deeper than that. Atzlut is a state of spiritual paralysis. It is the feeling of being heavy, of being unable to move, of being disconnected from your own life force. The Yetzer Hara is a master strategist, and Atzlut is its most effective and insidious weapon. Why? Because the Yetzer Hara's primary goal is not to make you a wicked sinner.
Its goal is to make you ineffective. It wants to neutralize you. It wants to take your God-given talents, your dreams, your potential, and ensure they never see the light of day. It knows that a good person who does nothing is no threat to the forces of chaos and darkness. A lazy, righteous person is a victory for the other side. The cost of Atzlut is your destiny. It is the life you were meant to live, the impact you were meant to have, the person you were meant to become. It is the ultimate theft. It doesn't just steal your time, it steals your very self. You become a ghost in your own life, haunted by the potential you are too lazy to fulfill. And the most tragic part? You begin to resent God. You wonder why He isn't blessing you, why your life isn't changing, when the truth is, He is waiting for you to move. So, what is the truth that shatters the chains of Atzlut? What is the Torah's secret to a life of relentless action? It is this. Action is the native language of the universe, and faith is action's mother tongue. God did not create the world by thinking about it. The Torah says, for 6 days, and God said, and God made, and God saw. It is a symphony of action, creation, and evaluation. He didn't just have a good idea, He executed it. This is the divine blueprint for all creation, including the creation of your own life and success. But the ultimate story that reveals this truth is the story of the splitting of the Red Sea. The Israelites are trapped. The Egyptian army is behind them. The sea is in front of them. They cry out to God. And what is God's incredible response to Moses? He says, "Ma titzak elai." Why are you crying out to me? Speak to the children of Israel and let them go forward. It is one of the most shocking moments in the Torah. God essentially says, stop praying and start moving. The Midrash teaches that the sea did not split when Moses lifted his staff. It split only when one man, Nachshon ben Aminadav, had the courage to act. He walked into the water. He kept walking as it rose to his ankles, his knees, his waist. He kept walking until the water was up to his nostrils and he was about to drown. And only then, in response to his radical, audacious action, did the sea split. This is the secret. The miracle is not in the prayer. The miracle is in the movement that follows the prayer. God is waiting for you to get your feet wet. This was the truth that saved me from my own paralysis. I realized I was standing on the shore of my dream, praying for the sea to part, while God was telling me to start walking. My dream of building the school was my Red Sea. So I made a decision. I would take one small, Nachshon-like step. I wouldn't try to build the whole school. I would just make one phone call. I called a friend, a successful real estate developer, and I said, I have an idea I want to run by you. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? That was it. That was my first step into the water. And a miracle happened. He didn't just listen. He got excited. He said, I know someone you need to talk to. That next meeting led to another. My one small action created momentum. It was like a spiritual chain reaction. The fear didn't vanish, but the excitement of being in motion became stronger than the fear of standing still. Within a year, we had a board, we had a building, and we had our first class of students. The sea had parted, not because I was special, but because I was willing to move. So, how do you become a Nachshon in your own life? How do you cultivate this bias for action? I want to give you a 3-step framework. I call it the Zerizut Protocol. Zerizut is the Hebrew word for alacrity, for enthusiastic diligence. It is the spiritual antidote to Atzlut. Step 1. The morning mandate. The first thing you must do when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you do anything else, is to declare your mission for the day. You say, God, today I am your soldier. My actions today are my worship. Guide my hands, guide my feet, and let me be a force for your will in the world. This simple act reframes your entire day. You are no longer just going to work or doing chores. You are on a divine mission. Every task, no matter how small, becomes an act of service. This connects your actions to a higher purpose, which is the ultimate source of motivation. Step 2. The 5-minute war. The Yetzer Hara is a master of overwhelm. It shows you the entire mountain and says, you can't possibly climb that. And you don't. The way to defeat this strategy is to refuse to look at the mountain. You look only at the first 5 minutes of the path. Whatever your most important, most procrastinated on task is, you commit to working on it for just 5 minutes. Set a timer. For those 5 minutes, you are at war. You close all other tabs. You put your phone in another room. You focus with every ounce of your being. Anyone can do anything for 5 minutes. But here is the secret, based on the spiritual law of momentum. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. In 90% of cases, when that timer goes off, you will keep going. You will have broken the back of the resistance. The hardest part is starting, and the 5-minute war makes starting almost effortless. Step 3. The action gratitude loop. After you complete a task, especially one you have been avoiding, you must immediately pause and activate the action gratitude loop. You close your eyes and you say, "Thank you, God, for the strength you gave me to act. Thank you for the victory over the Yetzer Hara." This is critical. It rewires your brain to associate action with pleasure and divine connection. Most people finish a task and just feel relief. You must feel gratitude. This gratitude becomes the fuel for your next action. Action leads to gratitude, which leads to more energy, which leads to more action. This is how you build a life of unstoppable momentum. Let me give you a powerful example from the Torah that will cement this principle in your soul. When God commanded Noah to build the ark, he didn't just make the ark appear. He told Noah to build it with his own hands over 120 years. Why? Because the act of building was part of the salvation. Noah's daily disciplined action of cutting wood, shaping planks, and assembling the ark was his statement of faith. Every hammer strike was a prayer. Every board laid was a declaration. I believe the flood is coming, and I believe God will save me through this work. The people around him mocked him. They called him crazy, but he kept building. And when the flood came, the ark was ready. This is the lesson. Your daily, disciplined action is not separate from the miracle. It is the mechanism of the miracle. When you sit down every day to work on your business, your book, your health, you are building your ark. You are creating the vessel that will carry you through the storm and into your promised land. Let's go to the advanced level. The Kabbalah teaches a concept called Itaruta deltata, which means arousal from below. This is the mystical teaching behind the Nachshon story. It means that divine flow, Shefa, is always waiting to pour into our lives. But it requires an action from our physical world to awaken it. Our action is the vessel. Our movement is the signal. When you take a physical step towards your goal, you are sending a signal to the spiritual realms that you are ready to receive. You are creating a landing strip for the miracle. Laziness is the act of refusing to build the landing strip. It is telling God, I am not a worthy partner for your blessing. Action, no matter how small, is the ultimate statement of faith. It says, I believe the blessing is there and I am walking towards it. There is also a profound teaching in Proverbs that speaks directly to this. King Solomon, the wisest man, says, Yada atzal lo tacharosh, v'sha'al bakatzir ve'ayin. The lazy person does not plough in season, so at harvest time he looks and there is nothing. This is a devastating image. The lazy person wakes up at harvest time, looks at his field, and sees nothing. Why? Because months earlier, when it was ploughing season, he chose comfort over effort. He chose the couch over the field. And now, when everyone else is celebrating abundance, he is starving. The harvest is not the time to start working. The harvest is the reward for the work you did when no one was watching. Your future is being built right now, in this moment, by the actions you take today. If you are lazy today, you are stealing from your future self. You are condemning future you to an empty field. But if you act today, if you plough when it is ploughing season, then future you will feast at the harvest. Furthermore, the Talmud teaches mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One good deed pulls another along with it. This is a spiritual law of momentum. When you perform one act of disciplined, focused work, you create a spiritual energy that makes the next act easier. Conversely, the sages teach avera goreret avera. One transgression pulls another. And the greatest transgression for a person with a mission is inaction. When you choose to be lazy, you are not just wasting that hour. You are creating a negative spiritual momentum that makes it easier to be lazy in the next hour. This is why it is so hard to get started again after a long period of laziness. You are fighting against a powerful negative momentum. The Zerizut protocol is designed to reverse this flow, to start a chain reaction of positive, holy action that builds on itself until you become an unstoppable force for good. I want to share one more story that will inspire you to action. There was a man in my community, a brilliant writer, who had been working on a book for 10 years. Every time I saw him, he would tell me about his book. He had the outline, he had done the research, he had the perfect title, but he never actually wrote it. He was waiting for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect inspiration. One day I challenged him. I said, "Write 1 page today, just 1 page. Don't edit it, don't worry if it's good, just write 1 page." He looked at me like I was crazy. "Rabbi, you don't understand. I need to be in the right headspace. I need uninterrupted time." I said, "You have had 10 years of uninterrupted time, and you have 0 pages. Write 1 page today." He was offended, but something in my words struck him. He went home, set a timer for 15 minutes, and wrote 1 page. It was terrible, but it existed. The next day, he wrote another page, and another. Within 6 months, he had a completed manuscript. Within a year, it was published. His book has now sold over 50,000 copies and has changed lives around the world. What changed? He stopped waiting for perfection and started moving. He became a Nachshon. He walked into the water. So, here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, I want you to live by the Zerizut protocol. 1. Every morning, declare your morning mandate. Connect your day to your divine purpose. 2. Every day, wage the 5-minute war. Identify your most important task and attack it for 5 minutes without distraction. 3. After every victory, activate the action gratitude loop. Thank God for the strength to act. I also want to give you a powerful mental reframe that will help you in moments of resistance. When you feel the pull of laziness, when you feel the Yetzer Hara whispering, "Just do it tomorrow," I want you to ask yourself this question. If I were on my deathbed, looking back at this moment, would I regret not taking this action? This is not morbid. It is clarifying. It cuts through all the excuses and reveals the truth. Your life is finite. Your time is limited. Every moment you choose inaction is a moment you can never get back. The sages teach, Teshuvah yom echad lifnei mitatcha. Repent 1 day before your death. But since you don't know when that day is, you must live every day as if it is your last. This doesn't mean living recklessly. It means living with urgency, with purpose, with the knowledge that your time here is a gift, and wasting it is the greatest sin. Let me also address a common excuse. People say, "Rabbi, I'm just not a disciplined person. I'm not wired that way." This is a lie. Discipline is not a personality trait. It is a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with use. You don't start by running a marathon. You start by running to the end of the block. You don't start by writing a book. You start by writing one sentence. The Zerizut protocol is designed to build your discipline muscle gradually, without overwhelming you. The 5-minute war is not a test of your current strength. It is a training program for your future strength. Every time you win that 5-minute battle, you are becoming a stronger, more disciplined person. Within 30 days, you will not recognize yourself. You will have become a warrior. Let me leave you with one final, powerful truth from the Torah. When God created the world, He worked for 6 days and rested on the 7th. But notice, He didn't rest because He was tired. God doesn't get tired. He rested to teach us a lesson. The lesson is this: rest is earned through work. The Sabbath is sweet because you have labored for 6 days. The harvest is joyful because you plowed in season. The victory is glorious because you fought the battle. If you are lazy, you have no right to rest. You are not resting, you are just continuing your laziness. But when you work with Zerizut, when you pour yourself into your mission with everything you have, then your rest becomes a sacred act. It becomes a celebration of what you have built, a taste of the world to come. This is the ultimate reward for a life of action, not just the external success, but the internal peace of knowing you gave everything you had. You will lie down at night with a clear conscience and a full heart, knowing that you honored God with your effort, that you became the person He created you to be. 30 days. This is not a self-help trick. This is a spiritual technology, a holy war against the forces of stagnation and mediocrity. Do this, and you will not just become more productive, you will become a different person. You will become a person of action, a person of power, a person who walks into the sea and commands it to part. You will never be lazy again, because you will have tasted the intoxicating joy of being a co-creator with God. Shalom, and may you be blessed with the courage of Nachshon, the diligence of a master craftsman, and the relentless joy of a life in motion.